all going so well, isn't it? Yeah, well, you know it is. Well, we think it is, don't we? What are we talking, of course, about? Well, we're talking about Meghan Markle, not just a return to the world of Instagram, of course, but the return to the world stage, and all of about how well she's doing inside the world's biggest talent agency. Yes, William Morris Endeavour. You may have seen this flashing headline about apparently how Meghan had a major fight with Harry Emmanuel, which of course is the big cheese at William Morris Endeavour. I've met Harry. He's the sort of person that you wouldn't necessarily want to cross on a bigger scale. But of course, like all agents, they too can lose the plot, seemingly by signing the wrong person, not necessarily making enough money for the agency, or indeed just a downturn in that client's talent. You get how this works. But what's the true story behind this particular headline? As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time today. Lovely to have your company. Big flashing headline that, wasn't it? Because Meghan, as we know, just under a year ago signed with this agency, one of the biggest agencies in the world. I've told you that before. It is one of those. I've never really been interested in big agencies because I find that they ute and dangle and everything like that, the other talent, in order to get the lower talent some exposure. But that doesn't necessarily transcend. It is, in the key word, talent. Now, of course, to have a former member, however briefly that was, inside your agency of course, the British royal family, it does add some kudos. If you remember, I told you a story a while back about during the 1940s, Louis B. Mayer tried to lure in, yes, none other than Edward of Edward and Mrs. Simpson fame to be part of the MGM board. He didn't care whether he could do anything or not, but he knew it looked good if he had a former member of the British monarchy on the MGM board. You see how that works. So where is Meghan Markle and WME? Well, where it gets interesting is there is no smoke without fire. And what I can tell you, first and exclusive, is this is the first allowed bombshell through. You see, what's happened is the story has gone out in the New York Post. It's got picked up. Has she been dumped? All of that sort of stuff. This is how agencies work. They allow this sort of thing to go out, right? And as ever, we have to say allegedly. And then the other side of the coin is this. What happens next is they come out and say, no, we're quite happy. We're going to continue to work with Meghan Markle, etc. Then what happens is it gets slimmed down to just working on special projects because they want to have more creative control. They want to be able to do their own thing, and it's slightly restricting. And eventually the deal peters to death. That's really how this works. So for anybody who's suggesting, oh no, it's rock solid and they're very happy and all that sort of stuff, no agency is ever totally happy unless you are number one at the box office, the book charts, the record chart, whatever you want to call it. If you're making them money at 20, 25, 30%, they love you. Right now, Meghan Markle is not making diddly squat for William Morris Endeavour because it's all speculative. They're thinking, or were thinking at that point, that her TV show with Netflix and a percentage deal that she may or may not give them. But she won't be giving them a percentage deal from Netflix because that deal was struck before she signed with them. You see how this works. Penguin Random House. So this is all speculative deals. The bigger thing now is how they extract themselves away from this. And remember, this is what I'm telling you, how this works. How they extract themselves away from this is the way that this is going to go forward. So if everybody thinks that it's all hunky-dory behind the scenes of William Morris Endeavour, it's simply a ticking clock. And the clock is ticking very loud and very clear for Meghan Markle now. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.